Today, former President Donald Trump hit the campaign trail in Aurora, Colorado. It's a suburb, if you don't know it, just outside of Denver, a large city in its own right. Gained national attention in August when a video surfaced of men carrying guns through an apartment building in Aurora. Trump claims that Venezuelan gangs are taking over there. The local officials have said that is not true at all. Trump capitalized on that false claim during his rally in Colorado, which was visited by hundreds and hundreds, thousands really, supporters of Trump on the ground in Aurora this afternoon. And Trump promised to deport members of a Venezuelan gang. National correspondent Dan Grossman is live in Aurora for us on this Friday night. Dan, this is a home game for you. You live in Colorado. You've seen what Aurora has endured over this past several weeks with a lot of misinformation coming out of the Trump fans camp. What can you report for us on this Friday?
Yeah, Joe, during the first 20 minutes of his speech, Trump talked about those claims of a Venezuelan gang taking over that apartment complex right here in Aurora, Colorado, even playing about a 5-minute clip that played news clippings and really spoke about that issue that you said were unfounded claims. Aurora police spokesperson telling us here at Scripps News that it was a, quote, overblown situation. Now, with that said, Colorado has leaned blue ever since 2004. Last time it voted red was during George W.'s re-election campaign in 2004. And Joe, I know you've spent a lot of time in Colorado as well, so you know about its politics. Even though the Front Range, which is right where Denver is, typically votes blue, Aurora is part of Colorado's 6th congressional district, which has been a bastion of Republican presence here. One of the many reasons why Trump decided to come here with only weeks to go until November's election. He harped on border policy. That was clearly his main issue today. One woman we spoke with who came from Republican Weld County, about an hour north of here in Aurora, said this was the very reason that she came all this way to see Mr. Trump speak as well.
I come from a family that my mother was in another country, married, came here, had to go through the immigration process, learn the language and everything. Took her 5 years, and she became a U.S. citizen, and to just scoot across the border and get all the same privileges that we've worked our lives for, I think they need to tighten up on that.
So, George, you know we've spoken about key 7 of them states that are potential swing states in November's election. Colorado used to be lumped in that list a few decades ago. Now it is considered light blue, but when you really look at the demographic here, the Trump campaign feels like they do have a good shot. They said so several times today that they could turn this state red. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen, but when you go to the Eastern Plains or the Western slope, both very concrete Republican presences there. So the Trump campaign feeling like they have some momentum here in Colorado.
Well, and I think a lot of people, if you don't know the politics of Colorado well, you have Boulder, you have Denver, you have Colorado Springs, you have that corridor, and that is very blue. That's where a good chunk of the population lives. But once you get out on those Eastern Plains, I mean, it looks like Kansas. It's Nebraska. It is definitely very different politically. Dan, real quick, before I let you go, 25 days away from Election Day, what do we know the next 3.5 weeks look like for former President Trump after he leaves Colorado? He seems to be doing some unique campaigning at the very least.
Yeah, he really is. He's going to 5 states. 4 of them are swing states in this election. First up is Reno tomorrow, then he goes to Coachella, then he goes down to Arizona before going back to the East Coast and hitting PA as well as Georgia, both of those of which are swing states. So, Joe, as you know, any presidential campaign hitting the ground hard, especially in the states where they feel like they want to get that in-between populace who really will decide the election in just a few weeks.